All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about something that, sounds almost impossible these days, the art of emotional neutrality. Now, hold on. This isn't about becoming some kind of robot or just shutting off your feelings. Actually, it's the exact opposite. It's about learning to feel everything, but without letting those feelings grab the steering wheel. So, let me just ask you this right up front. How many times a day, or even an hour, do you catch yourself reacting on complete autopilot? Snapping at someone before you even think, or spiraling into worry over a small thing, or maybe just feeling totally wiped out by a little bit of drama. Just think about that for a second, because we're about to explore how to break that exact cycle. Okay, let's get one thing straight right away, because there's a huge misconception here. When people hear emotional neutrality, they picture someone who's cold, distant, completely shut down. No, that's not it at all. What it is being calm, centered, grounded. It's about being able to feel an emotion, anger, fear, whatever, acknowledge it, and then choose not to be dragged around by it. It's like being the quiet, steady eye of your own emotional hurricane. So, if it's that simple, why is it so incredibly hard to do? Why do our feelings just hijack us sometimes? Well, the answer is actually hardwired right into our brains. Let's dig into the science of why we are basically built to overreact. See, you gotta remember, your emotions aren't some modern flaw. They're an ancient, time-tested survival system. I mean, thousands of years ago, if our ancestors heard a rustle in the bushes and felt that jolt of fear, that reaction is what kept them alive. The only problem is, our brains haven't exactly gotten the latest software update for the modern world. And that old software leads to something neuroscientists call an amygdala hijack. This is that split-second moment when your emotional brain, the amygdala, slams the panic button and completely takes over, shutting down the logical, rational part of your mind. Suddenly, you're not thinking anymore, you're just pure reaction. You know that angry email you sent and regretted 5 minutes later? Yep, classic amygdala hijack. And this just shows you how wild the mismatch is. Back then, the threat was, a literal saber-toothed tiger. That fight-or-flight response was pretty essential. But now, that exact same primal alarm system gets triggered by an awkward email, a text message someone left unread, the pressure you feel scrolling through social media. Our bodies are literally reacting to a tweet as if it's a tiger in the room. Now check this out. This one piece of science might completely change how you think about your feelings. Researchers have actually found that the chemical reaction in your body that we call an emotion, that physical rush of anger or that flash of fear, it only lasts for about 90 seconds. That's it. 90 seconds, and it's gone. So, if the emotion itself is over in a minute and a half, why does a bad mood or anxiety stick around all day? Well, here's why. It's the stories we tell ourselves about the feeling. It's the looping thoughts, the replaying of the conversation, the constant what-ifs and should-haves. That's what keeps the feeling going long after the trigger is gone. We're the ones keeping the emotion on life support. And living in the state of constant reaction, well, it's not free. It comes with a really high price, one that we usually don't even realize we're paying day after day. So let's talk about the hidden costs of overreacting. First, there's the cost to you, internally. Every single time you have an emotional outburst, you're flooding your body with stress hormones like cortisol. And if you do that over and over, is it any wonder you have headaches, you can't sleep, or you're walking around in a brain fog? But it goes deeper. It starts to damage your trust in yourself. You start asking, why can't I just get it together? And that question, that kicks off a really painful cycle of shame. And of course, that internal cost always spills out into our relationships. I mean, think about it. Every good relationship is built on trust, right? Well, every overreaction, no matter how small, is like a little hairline fracture in that foundation. It makes people around you feel like they have to walk on eggshells, and that feeling of being unsafe just slowly chips away at the connection you have, no matter how many times you say you're sorry. And then there's the energetic cost. Look, your peace of mind is probably your most valuable and limited resource. Every time you let a small trigger pull you into a big reaction, you are literally giving away your peace to things that don't deserve it. It is absolutely exhausting. And you're not just draining yourself, you're often sucking the energy right out of the room for everyone else too. Okay, so we get the problem, right? The wiring in our brains, the costs, all of it. The great news is this is a skill. We can actually train ourselves to respond differently. So let's get into the good stuff, your practical, hands-on toolkit. Here are 5 real tools for staying calm. All right, this is it. your game plan. Number 1, name it to tame it. Sounds simple, but just saying to yourself, okay, this is anger I'm feeling, actually activates the thinking part of your brain and starts to calm the emotional part. Number 2, pause. Just pause. Remember that 90-second rule? Your only job is to create a tiny bit of space before you act. That's it. Number 3, ground your body. Emotions feel like they're in your head, but they happen in your body. So use your body to calm down. Take one slow, deep breath, or just press your feet firmly on the floor. Number 4, reframe the story. Ask one simple question. Is there another way to look at this? So often we make things about us when they're not. And finally, number 5, and this is maybe the most important, practice micro-neutrality. Don't wait for a huge fight. Build this muscle on this small stuff, like getting stuck in traffic or spilling your coffee. Practice there. And let me be absolutely crystal clear on this point. Being neutral does not make you passive. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. In fact, it's the total opposite. It's the source of real power. Because when you stop being a puppet that gets yanked around by your own emotions or by other people's drama, guess who's in control? You are. You're the one holding the strings. When you boil it all down, this whole entire practice is about one fundamental shift, moving from a life of automatic reaction to a life of conscious intention. It's about finding that tiny little gap between the trigger and your response, because inside that space, that's where you find your freedom. That's where you find your power. I absolutely love this idea. We live in a world that is, frankly, addicted to outrage. It's addicted to overreaction. And in an environment like that, the person who can stay calm, who can stay centered and grounded, they don't just save their own peace. They become a point of stability for everyone around them. They become a lighthouse in the middle of a storm. So I'm going to leave you with that question to take with you. Just think about your life, at work, with your family, online. Where is one place, just one, that you can practice being a lighthouse this week? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Remember, your peace is priceless.